everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bodhi. As you saw in the intro, I'm going to be talking about ways that I stay connected to nature even when I'm not in nature, basically. And there are actually a lot of different ways that there are a lot of different tips and little ways to go about it. This is, I want to say it's more on like a spiritual level, or at least these are just little tips that feel sacred to me. And some of the other tips, like this is just part one, I'll make a part two, and they're a little bit more on a like physical level of connecting to nature. So one of my favorite ways to feel connected with nature is to learn about the medicine that grows within nature, like herbs, adaptogenics. Like they're some of my favorite things to learn about. And I have like a personal apothecary. I love tinctures, and I have herbs that I like to make my own little tea blends with, and I experiment with those. And depending on the herbs that you use, you can actually use them to help deepen your spiritual practices as well, especially some like the Ayurvedic herbs like Brahmi, Khutko cola. There's so many herbs that help us in different ways. And you know, herbs come straight from the earth. It's like the earth really made all this stuff to help our bodies, and I mean our bodies are compiled of elements of the earth, so why wouldn't we tune into the medicine that grows straight from soil itself, especially when it can help us on such a subtle level too. I will say that from the books that I've read, especially when it comes with Ayurveda and herbs and everything like that, I should say that like herbs are only the most like potent or really like more help on an assisting level when you also have a proper diet and lifestyle to help the herbs assist your healing. This is just coming from my books, like David Frawley and Dr. Vasant Lad. They'll say the same thing, like using just herbs to heal but not adjusting the rest of your like habits and routines and stuff won't actually help the herbs help you. I feel like that's how herbs work. It's like the herbs help you, and you have to like work with your body to let the herbs kind of do their magic. But for the most part too, like they do some solid stuff. Yeah, there's so many kinds of herbs. There are different herbs too that can help, you know, with focus and for immune boosting, and herbs for digestion, and they come in all different ways, categories, tastes, benefits, properties, whatever. And that's all stuff that you can easily just like Google an herb you're curious about, look up its benefits, stuff like that. It's all I've done. And there are a lot of books on herbology and herbalism and stuff like that. My next tip for people who bleed, I like to track my moon cycle. I use the app Flow. I really like this app a lot. It had like a little subscription thing, but it's really cheap for like a whole year, I think. So I don't remember if I spent like $7 for like a year to have access to all the different information that the Flow app has. But there are other apps too. There are so many apps that you can track your cycle with, and understanding how our hormones act within our bodies and what our bodies need during certain times of the month, I feel like will help further deepen the relationship with your mind and just habits and needs in general. Like the first half of the cycle is the follicular phase, and then the second half is the luteal phase. In the first half, the cycle starts first day of your period or moon, and that is the follicular phase. And the follicular phase is a very energetic time. Metabolism is up and your energy is up. It's the best time for creative expression. And then the luteal phase is the very sensitive, very emotional time, and there's always something deeply to be learned during the luteal phase. Like I am actually on my period, so I'm in the follicular phase. I feel alive. I feel like I can do everything. And then once the luteal phase hits and this hormone switch up, it's like it's a crash and burn. But there are different ways to connect to our needs during those times of our moon cycles. Our moon cycle is roughly our 28-day cycle. It's just like the moon, so that's why the term moon cycle can be used to talk about your period and everything like that too. So that's just like a cool way to connect with your body and connect it with the internal nature that is always phasing and changing day by day, week by week. Well, through Ayurveda has helped me deepen the understanding of how nature works inside our body as well, especially on such an elemental level. Understanding the doshas that are made up out of the combination of the 5 elements, and then figuring out what your constitution is helps you understand the elements in your body and what you need out of your lifestyle, routine, diet, stress management, or whatever it is to balance whatever excess of an element is in the body. Like, for example, my excess elements like water and earth. And so I need air, ether, and fire to pretty much counteract the excess amount of water qualities and earth-like qualities in my body. Those earth and water qualities make up the Kapha dosha, and I need more Vata, Pitta type habits and routine to balance out the excess Kapha. And Ayurveda, they say what like attracts like, and that aggravates, and then the opposite balances. So actually doing and eating the opposite of stuff that you would typically do will actually balance you out. So if you're always on the go, you need to rest. If you're always resting, you need to go. There is a website I refer to a lot. It's Banyan Botanicals. You can take a dosha quiz on there. I'll link that in the description box below. This isn't sponsored. I just love this website. I get herbal supplements and Ayurvedic like herbal just stuff, and they have a lot of cool information. They have a lot of blog posts that talk about what to do for each dosha that's out of balance and stuff. I just always recommend this website. Anyways, moving on. And then last but not least, is my last tip on how I like to deepen my connection with nature on a spiritual level. And this is kind of like with assistance of Ayurveda, having that understanding of your constitution or your dominant dosha constitution in the body can help you kind of set up your routine and adjust according to the seasons of nature. So like it's spring is Kapha season, and having a dominant Kapha constitution, I have to extra pacify Kapha by eating lighter meals and having more activity, more movement, and obviously staying dry when it rains. And then say summertime is a little bit different because where I live, the humidity index gets unbearably high. So I have a slightly cooling routine in the summertime, more like in the mornings, and then for the most part I still just have that light diet. And then fall time is Vata season through, winter. I actually tend towards my Vata tendencies in the fall time. So I can forget to drink water and I can be on the go and I can get the most headaches and stuff. So I have to ground myself more often in the fall time. They're different routines and different habits for each season. Whatever worked for the fall doesn't work for the spring. What worked in the spring doesn't work in the fall, summer. It's just a cool way to stay in tune with the body and with your needs, just with the nature that resides within us. Ayurveda really puts into perspective the elements in the body. So that's why I'm so big on it. And Ayurveda is like a sister science to yoga. Having a yoga practice for your constitution customizes what you can get out of the spiritual practices to heal your body, to create that space for deeper spiritual wisdom and knowledge experiences to come through. So yeah, it's all just one cycle. So recommend deep diving into a little bit of research about Ayurveda, and again, Banyan Botanicals website will be linked in the description box below. Like, these are really simple tips. Herbs, you drinking tea, having tinctures, adaptogenics, my routine according to the season, my moon cycle. I'll go off on the moon cycle. I tune into full moons and new moon energy because the moon also has a sort of power over the mind. And in a lot of Eastern traditions, full moons are a great time to deepen meditation practices because the mind tends to be more active and, kind of be a little erratic. I feel like I experience this firsthand every full moon. I get anxious and then I'm like, oh, Right. And once I ground my mind down, I'm like, Gucci. You know, it's not this deep thing to have to tune in every full moon, new moon, but it is kind of fun to check in with yourself according to the moon phases, because we phase in and out like the moon. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and tell me what you think. How do you tune in to your inner nature, your nature on a spiritual level? I will conclude this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it made sense, and I will see you guys next week in my next vlog. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.